Ryan here with Solutions 8, and today we're going to be talking about how to scale a smart shopping campaign. We get this often with a e-commerce campaign client because the client is new usually to smart shopping, doesn't really understand what it is. I have another video about what is smart shopping and why you should use it, but it's one of the main campaigns that we use for e-commerce campaigns. And there are two settings in there that start to fight each other: daily ad spend and target return on ad spend. And they fight each other. Think of it like a leash. You're going to say, spend this amount, spend $100 a day. But if you put a ROAS goal of 300%, say only spend the money when you think you can earn a 3x return. And what ends up happening is you get a campaign that is trying to spend $100 a day, but will spend 40, but will make you 120. And you're like, well, why can't I spend more? I don't know how to get this to spend more. And if you remove the ROAS goal, then it starts to spend wildly, and and then you add it back in and it just goes back to normal. So I want to explain to you the philosophy of smart shopping, how it works, why it works a certain way, when to not and when to use a ROAS goal, and how to stair step your way to success. So let's begin. I'm using a campaign here. I've hidden the products here because we want to keep this client confidential, but they sell shoes. Let's just leave it at that. A lot of shoes, actually. 5,663 SKUs to be exact. Now you have to think about there's also sizes in shoes. So like a woman's 7, 8, 9, 10 is 4 SKUs. I had to do quick math there. Anyway, so here's what happens. Now, from September 1st to October 15th is when we launched the campaign. And you can see that we have some costs here that are $200 to make $194. We lost money there. And then you'll see some that are a little bit different, where you spend $24 and you make $140. And then you see some spends that you have spent $30, $40 and made zero. Overall, this account has about a 250% return on ad spend because we have a lot of products that get a good amount of sales that are at a 3,000 or 32,000% return, an 18,000 return. So it evens out over time to a good 250% return on ad spend. Now, what we have to also look at, though, is how do you start to put the campaign into a scalable but profitable mode? Because if you just start off with a return on ad spend goal of 500% and starting day one, your campaign won't run, because it's going to say, we don't know where we're going to show an ad that's going to earn us 5x, so we're just not going to show an ad. So what you want to do is you want to run for some time. You can see here it's been 45 days. This is our recommendation, to run for at least 45 days before you implement a ROAS goal. And you can implement it sooner, but it does start you off at a little bit of a lower tier. And what I mean by that is, what you're asking Google to do is do this. Okay, without a ROAS goal, and think of it almost like I like to use an analogy, think of it like a dog. You're gonna have $100 a day, and I don't care how much money you make. Go spend $100 a day. Dog leaves, comes back, and the dog says, okay, I spent $100 a day. I don't know why I'm using this analogy, just go with it. But the dog says, I spent $100 a day. And it's gonna say, what did you make? It's gonna say, I don't really know. You'll be able to see that, but the algorithm doesn't really know what it's really spending. It's just trying to spend that money. And after you do that for a certain amount of time, you say, okay, now go and spend $100, but make me $300. It's going to say, okay, and it's going to leave and then come back and it's going to say, okay, well, I was able to spend 80 and I made you $240. So you made that 3x return. And here's what happened. And this is why you wait 45 days. In the first 45 days, it's going to now know, okay, if I spend 150, I'm going to make zero. So stop showing so many ads and don't get 143 clicks and not make any money. It's going to pull back on this particular product. And it's going to use that money to say, okay, where did I make at least a 300% ROAS? Well, I made it here. I made a 500% ROAS, so keep showing this one. Did I make it here? Yes, I did. Keep showing this one. Did I make it here? No, I didn't. Spend less on this one. And you're going to see that the ad spend is going to be reserved for more type of the products that are giving you a positive return on ad spend. You can see from here and above, these would all equal probably about 1,000% return on ad spend. Now, you'll also have to see, what is the volume? You want to have at least a few conversions in there, because if as soon as you implement that ROAS goal, it kind of shrinks down to the particular type of products that it knows it can sell. So how do you scale out of this? Well, you spend $100 a day, as an example, for 45 days. Then you put a 300% return on ad spend and you hit those numbers. Stay there for about another 2 to 3 weeks and get more conversion data, because over time, what you're going to see is that it finds products that sell above that. It'll find products that sell maybe a bit below that 300% ROAS goal, as an example, but they will even out to 300%. So you'll naturally start to spend up to your budget, and you'll get to a point where you're spending $100 a day and making 3x return. Then take off your ROAS goal again, go up to 150 per day. Give that about 2 weeks. You might fall below your 300% return on ad spend, but you'll be spending $150 a day, and you're going to find products that did not, these are all excluded, but let me just do this here. You'll find products that had 5 and less clicks and didn't sell anything will start to get more and more impressions and clicks because they're being unrestricted now at 150, but you still have your products at $100 and are making you a 3x return. So you're going to have more clicks and more sales, and you're going to find other products that look like this one here at a 5,000% return on ad spend. And then after you run 150 for about 2 to 3 weeks, reinstate a ROAS goal of 300. What will happen is you'll probably go down to about 125, 130, but you'll be at that 300% again. So what you've done is you've gone from $100 with no results to $100 with 3x, now up to 125 with 3x. Give it a week or two, and then take off and because after a week or two, you'll probably start to spend now more about 150 out of 3x. Once you've hit that goal and are consistent with that goal over the course of 1 or 2 weeks, take off the ROAS goal, go up to 200. Now what's going to happen is your ROAS goal is going to dip down. You're going to get a $200 per day spend. You'll probably fall underneath that 300% ROAS goal, probably 220, 240 as it starts to figure it out. You'll start to have more and more sales and more traffic because you're spending $200 a day unrestricted. And then after about 2 weeks of that, reinstate that 300% ROAS goal. What will happen? You'll probably drop down to about 160, 175, but you'll be spending at 3x again. The reason why, and all it's doing is simply just testing more products while it already knows the products it can sell. So you're still allowing the algorithm to say, okay, I have 50 products now that I know I can sell, and you're asking me to go find $50 more per day worth of it. Well, I can supplement that offset by continually selling the products that do sell to now products that are starting to sell, and I have more products I can simply add to my repertoire of products that sell above that 300%. To stair step this scaling means that you're profitable majority of the time, but over time you can get it to $300, $400, $500 per day at a very, very good 300 to 400% return on ad spend. It takes a few months to get there. We run our campaigns in 90-day increments. If you were to hire us today, we have to run at least 90 days to get to a specific goal. This is the process that we use in order to get to that goal. So if you want to start turning off products, my recommendation would be don't really shut off a product indefinitely, turn it off in the short term. And here's some strategies around that. Is if I have something that's getting 245 clicks, it's the highest one here, 26,000 impressions, it's really popular, it's spending the majority of the money, and I'm not making any money really. I'm not even breaking even on my ad spend. This is a product I would say, okay, let's shut it off. It's really popular. It's going to get a lot of clicks. It's going to get a lot of impressions. It might not, the ROAS goal may not even be enough to mitigate this risk. Start to shut it off. But don't go through this thing and say, okay, 25, nothing, shut off. 21, nothing, shut off. Because when you see it's like, well, 24, you might be stopping what we call 3 feet from gold. Man, if you waited like 5 more clicks, now you have a 500% return on ad spend product. Now you're seeing it in the first 45 days. So what we did is we've just added a ROAS goal yesterday for this campaign. This is going to have this blue line of clicks go down a little bit. The conversions will even off a little bit, and now I will be spending less to make more money. If we look at the conversion value here, if you imagine, and I advertise or set this over a week, we're spending. Let's actually do cost. So right here we spent $413 to make $994, spent $400 to make $600, $300 to make $700, $400 to make $800, $500 to make $1,000. So you're getting about 200% return. When I implement this ROAS goal, I'll probably go down to, as an example, this 363 will probably go down to about a 200, and my conversion value will be about 600. So you'll see I'm going to go down a little bit in my spend, but my return is going to be there, which means my profit margin is now going to be there. I'm starting to make money on this. And you can run this for a very long time and keep a low profiting campaign and make yourself a couple $100 every week or whatever, pure profit, and can be okay with that. But to scale that, you need to sacrifice some of that money that you just made by reinvesting it into the campaign to scale up so that you're now up at the next level. This is a way that we like to use for pretty much all of our campaigns. It's what we've found out of, I think, maybe 40 e-commerce campaigns. This has been the most predictive, the most beneficial, the way not to just take 90 days and throw money out the window. You get to a profit of either break even or small profitability, reinvest that profitability into scaling again, and then you're going to be up to like the $300, $400, $500 a day where you're making 3x. So that means you're probably could be making $500 a day. That's when you start to make some really good money in your campaigns. And Smart Shopping is very, very consistent. So I hope this has been valuable to you. I hope you've were able to kind of learn our processes and our procedures in order to kind of get this to scale at a good pace. And if you're experiencing any issues with your smart shopping campaigns, try this method. It's worked really well for us, very consistently over many, many times. And don't be afraid to lose money in the short term for a little bit of a longer term gain, because a long term gain will be consistent. I'd lose $500 in a week if I could make $500 in a week forever after that. So that's kind of our philosophy. Thanks.